Good morning, everybody. Oops. All right, bumped the camera. We're off to a good start, huh? There's Fancy Pants and Liz and Mickey and Pam. Hi, everybody. How are you? So the saga of the trivet continues. Hey, Evie. But today we're going to do the binding. So this is the end of the trivet segments. Hey, Diamond, our trivet series. But I think you're going to like it. I mean, they came out really good. So guess what I did yesterday? I sewed. It was a good day. I was in the sewing room all day. So I had to tidy up, of course. I don't know, where my sewing area where I keep the machine was just gets messy. And then the cutting table was really messy. So I decluttered it. And, but, hey, Doris, I actually did the IQ designer, and I quilted. So these are going to be gifts. I'm going to keep up with this camera. These are gifts for belated Mother's Day gifts. So these are ones I quilted with IQ. There. So, and I'll talk about this guy. Hey, Betty. And then this one. I quilted this one.
Super cute, Lynn.
Thank you. I'm not an IQ expert like I'm trying to be. Well, not expert, but I'm trying to learn it because I'm fairly new to it. I don't even know if I've had my Solaris a year yet. I'm not sure. And I'm always like, I don't know where the time goes. So this morning thank you, Liz. Thank you, Fancy Pants. This morning I'm going to bind one of these for you. I'm going to bind this one. And we're going to have it as a store sample. So as a reminder, this was cut on the AccuQuilt Go using the Rising Star die. So I'm not a quilter. Hey, Leanie, I will never say I'm a quilter. It's not that I don't like quilting, I don't know, it's just I'm not that good at it, I don't feel. But with AccuQuilt, it makes me good at it because it makes the cutting so much easier. Let's face it, to me, cutting's very tedious. Makes it so much more accurate. And then the next part, to me, tedious, is the binding. So that's what I'm going to show today. But we don't do binding by hand. We do it by machine. That's Selima and I. But my friend Louise demonstrated using a baby lock binding foot. She didn't sew the binding on with it, but she did the last finishing touches with this binding foot. And it was really cool. But today I'm going to use my Bernina 480, which I love Bernina 480. It's a great little machine. And I am going to use my walking foot. I'm going to sew it on with the regular part of the walking foot, and I'm going to switch out the plate and put in an edge stitch, and that's how we're going to do the final part of the binding. But I did do Louise's method. She cut her binding 3.5 inches. I kind of like a wider binding myself. So she cut it 3.5 inches. This is folded in half and ironed already because I wasn't going to do all that for you. I mean, I'd do it for you, but it's kind of boring, right? So 3.5 inches, folded in half and ironed. And so the first one I did using her 3.5 inches, I sewed it on with a 1/4 inch seam, but it came out really fat. So it came out really fat. There, the camera's refocusing. So I used the serpentine stitch, which Selima talks about. Oh yeah, you can see it. I used the serpentine stitch to stitch it down since the binding came out so fat. It's like a me binding. It looked like me. And this one I sewed on with a 1/2 inch seam, so it's better. I think it's better. So instead of 1/4 inch seam sewing it on today, I'm going to use 1/2 inch seam. And we're going to bind this little jewel. But I have 2 more. because I have a sister, a sister-in-law, and a niece. And maybe I'll keep one because I have 4 of them. All right, let's get going. But so the tools we're going to use today is the walking foot, the Bernina walking foot. And I'll show you, the walking foot, there's always a trick to put it on, so we'll show you that trick. I'm going to use, of course, a rotary cutter, Frixion pin, Wonder clips, and what else? Iron. Yeah, I've been busy, fancy pants. But I'm going to use this. I love this tool. I love this tool so much that one time I couldn't find it, so I bought another one. It's called the Cut Right Bind Up tool. It makes it so much easier to finish off the ends. And speaking of that, on these little projects, it's so hard to, because you got to bring the ends together. And anyway, I'm going to have to leave a big space in between so I have room to manipulate. You'll see what I mean when we get to there. So let's get started. Let me change cameras. First thing we're going to do is put on the walking foot. Too bad it's kind of bright, but I don't know if I can turn off the lights on this one. This is a 9mm.
Oh, it looks good.
It looks good. Okay, good. Looks bright to me, but it looks better to you guys. So I took off my 1C foot. I'm going to put on my walking foot. So what we need to do with Berninas, they have this, their shank is like cone shaped. And their walking foot has this little hole in it. And you got to put that cone in it. And you have to put this on the needle bar. So it's a little tricky. So I'm going to come in from the right. I'm going to put that little fork. I make it look harder than it is. I'm going to put that little fork on the needle bar. And, is my foot up? Yeah. There we go. And I'm going to wiggle it in there. I'm trying to stay out. There we go. Got it. So that's the hardest part. And the hardest part is there we go. All right, she's on. I put a new needle in. I cleaned and oiled my machine. And what else? That's it. Cleaned and oiled, new needle. So what we're going to do is we're going to start. Normally you would start like right here, but since this project is so little, we need to, and I'm going to sew from the back. But since this project is so little, you need room to manipulate, right? So we are actually going to start from like way close to the corner. And I'm going to show you how to turn the corner. You probably all know how to do that, but maybe not. Move this stuff out of the way. All right, and I'm going to use 1/2 inch. Because, like I said, the 1/4 inch was actually 3/8 inch would probably be better. So maybe if I just run the edge of my foot, yeah, 3/8 might be better. Because the 1/2 inch, to tell you the truth, is a little tight. All right, my stitch length is at 2.0. Oh, you know what else I need? I need a seam guide to measure the end. So whatever seam guide you have, because I want to go from the end. So let me put my needle down. I'm going to show you. I'm going to measure what my actual seam width is. Oh, it does look like 1/2 inch. I think it's 3/8. Looks like 3/8. So I'm going to measure 3/8 from here. Sorry, 3/8 from the end. And I'm going to stick a pin in it. Did the pins take a walk? Hang on a second. I didn't bring my own pins.
Pins are right there to your left.
Ah, there they are. I just need one pin. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm going to put a pin in at 3/8. Look, I'm already full of thread. I'm going to put a pin in 3/8. You can't see 3/8 from the end. And that's where I'm gonna pivot. But I'll show you. Hopefully it's right? Might be a little more than 3/8, but that's okay. All right, so we're gonna start out, and I'm not gonna back stitch because it might be I end up taking part of the seam out. I usually do because I need more room to manipulate. I'm gonna try to keep my hands out of your way. So just straight stitch. All right, so I'm getting to the corner. I'm gonna sink my needle. Hi, birdie. And yes, it does. The door says the binding looks good with the leaves. It does. Thank you. And I'm going to stitch to the corner at an angle. See, I'm at an angle. I'm going to back stitch. There we go. I'm going to use my thread cutter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull it out. And we're going to fold this back at that angle. This is to create our miter. So I'm going to fold it back at that angle, try to keep all the fabric even. You guys see that? And then what we're going to do is bring this one back like that. Can you see that? We're going to bring that one. So this fold of this fabric is even with the raw edge. And we're going to bring it to a machine. I've got like 3 yards of binding here. And we're going to bring it back to the machine. And we're going to start stitching. Sorry, I'm trying to get my hands out of your way. I'll back stitch a little bit. So, you know, this is a little bit thicker than a normal quilt would be because we have a layer of Insulbright and a layer of the Bosal batting stabilizer combined. So the walking slit is necessary. It makes it so my bottom and top feed evenly. It's a little noisy. Maybe I need to oil my walking foot. There we go. And getting close to the corner again, so I'm going to take my questionnaire. You know, it's right here, and then I lose it. I'm going to take my seam guide again and put my pin in there. And then go ahead and sew to the pin. So I'm sewing the binding onto the back. Go to the pin and take the pin out. Turn, put that and sew to the corner. Back stitch. Maybe back stitch. There we go. That's good enough. Scissor, bring it up, turn it to that angle, like that, and bring it here. I think I started to tell you about Louise demoing the binding foot, but I don't think I told you what day. I meant to. Anyway, you can find her on YouTube at AAA Sewing and Fabric. We have our, Selima has her own channel. Please subscribe. Please like the videos because it's all good. It makes it good for us. Anyway, oh, I have my knee lift up so the machine's saying, hey, put your foot down. Anyway, so I looked up that video. And it was on July 19th, 2021. So all our Fast Friday videos are on YouTube, and it's actually easier to find them on YouTube than it is on Facebook because you just have to scroll through everything on Facebook. On YouTube, you can actually see what the topic was pretty easy. And you might even be able to search on the channel itself. So doing our thing. I said, Friday Fun Day is on there, and it's a lot easier to find it on YouTube. The topic you might be looking for, and And Salima has some other videos on there too. She has a couple machine basics, and we're hoping to build up the channel more with more videos. But we have this bad habit of wanting to eat and sleep. I don't know what the deal is with that, but we do. All right, to the corner again. Back stitch again. There we go. And cut. We are heading towards the last corner. But this way, the corners aren't that bad, right? So once again, angle it, and then bring your fabric over once again. So I know there's a lot of people who like to hand bind. I would I guess hand binders sew it on like this and then turn it over and hand bind it. And I personally don't have anything against hand sewing. In fact, I find it kind of relaxing. So, but sometimes you just have to get it done. It's harder to get it done when you're trying to hand sew something. It goes a little slower, and then sometimes, as you get older, your hands might start to bother you. Of course, that's not the case with any of us, right? We drank out of that fountain of youth, and we are forever young. All right. There's that. Doesn't look right. No, that's not right. There we go. It looked more like a 1/4 inch. 3/8. All right, here we go. Last corner. Turn, go off at an angle, back stitch, cut my thread, and now, do you have any tips on cutting bias binding? Doris, this is not bias. This was, thank you, Mickey, for subscribing. We appreciate that. This was not bias. Normally I just cut it on straight grain because I'm not going around curves or anything. I'm just going straight. So I don't feel a need for bias binding. Now when I did my blouses, which are, causes great controversy to talk about my blouses.
I wonder with who.
So we try not to talk about them. But when I do them, because I'm going around a neckline and an armhole, I do cut bias. So there's all kinds of little tips and tricks. Lots of times I'll just use on your cutting mat, you have a 45-degree angle. I'll just use that because I'm not a mathematician. I'm not that smart. Okay, here we go. So we have come to the end. I think I'm gonna shift my machine over a little bit so that I can show you. I'm going to just turn it. Hopefully, if I put the machine on the cable, it won't hurt the cable.
Yeah, it shouldn't go on the cable. So let me help you.
Here, I'll just go like this.
Got it.
Okay. You can just put it under the... Oh, let me take that up. Sorry, I'm trying to make room on my cutting mat so I can show you what I'm doing. Because this is important. This is the part that throws us all off. Well, throws me off. I don't know about you guys. Throws me off. And I'm going to have to step away and go to the iron. So let's read our instructions. It's always a good idea to read instructions, right? I need to see this. I got like 1,500 yards of binding here. Oh, thank you, Abby. She loves my blouses. Thank you. So anyway, for this I don't cut bias unless this stripe worked out, right? It's already on the bias. But if you have a stripe and you want it to be bias that's not, then you would cut bias. Yeah, I mess this up every time too. Anyway, here we go. But with this tool, it's hard to mess it up. So what they want us to do is take our unsewn ends of the binding and fold each side back onto itself, ensuring that the folds touch each other in the center. Press with an iron. So this is what they're talking about. They want us to fold this one back. And you know what? I'm going to cut this guy a little bit because he's, like I said, he's like 15 yards long. Because, you know, I need it for the next 3 I'm doing. In fact, I don't even know if I have enough. I might have to buy more of that fabric. Okay, here we go. So, you fold these together like this. Like that. And I am going to step away and go to the iron. And I know, Mickey, I've messed this up so many times. And there's a lot of methods out there, maybe not using a tool, but I'll tell you what, this tool helps me so I don't twist it. Because I've done it without the tool following, you know, a method, but then I twist it. And I don't twist it with this tool. Okay, so I've got it like this. So I'm going to step away and iron this. I'll show you when I come back. It'll just take a second because the iron is just steps away. I love this fabric because it's already on the bias. Can't get much better than that, right? Makes me look good. We're using the little mini Alicio iron. That thing gets warm. All right, here we go. If you come in the store today, you'll see threads all over me. All right, I'm taking my Frixion marker. The next thing the instructions say to do, I'm doing step by step by step. Open the left binding, so it's my left, so that the wrong side is face up, like this. This is my left, wrong side's facing up. You can see that nice crease point, right? So what they want me to do now is to mark that. So I'm going to mark it. Mark it. Mark it. Mark it. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to open it up. You guys see okay? On your AAA YouTube channel, could you do a short video demonstrating how to clean and oil? Oh, that's a good idea. Good idea. If we could get Beto, but Beto won't do it. I'm sure he's camera shy. We can do that. It's great. You know, someday, I'm not going to promise when, because, you know, we're kind of busy. There we go. So, you can see I've marked it this side. Do you see that? Mark that side. Oh, it's kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can get to lay flat. That side's marked. This side will show better. This side's marked. Okay, what's it say to do next? We've marked it. Now it says, I gotta move this cutting mat over a little bit. We bring in this cutting mat. I'm going to cut on this one. All right. Oh, I drug everything with me. There we go. Okay. I'm going to use this mat to cut with. Here we go. Okay. So now that I've marked it, it says to bind, you take my bind up tool and turn it so the L, there, you can't really see, there you go. The L is now up wrong side. So I'm going to turn it so the L is right side. Okay, so then what they want me to do is to line up, there's lines on here. See the lines? I'm going to try to get this fabric to lay flat. Let me show you. So this line here trying to cut the glare. Oh, there we go. This line here. This is going to line up with the intersection I just drew. So, Mickey, here we go. So we're going to line this up like that. And we're going to cut right along this line here. All right? So I got my tool lined up. Oops. We'll unlock my baby. Yes, the crosshairs. There you go. So my crosshairs on the tool are lined. You can't see it, but take my word for it. My crosshairs on my tool are lined up to the crosshairs I drew, and I'm going to cut. There we go. And of course, you know, my rotary cutter doesn't always cut, as we all have that issue. But guess what? I got Kai scissors here. I can finish the cut. All right, here we go. Cut. All right, this guy's waist. Now, I happen to know further along down the steps, they want me to take my tool. I'm going to just do it now because I have it open. I'm going to take my tool and line up the edge with the edge of the fabric. I'm trying to get it to lay flat. Line up the edge with the edge of the fabric and push it up so it's even. And I'm going to cut off this dog ear right here. So the tool has one corner that's flat. That's to cut off the dog ear. And that helps us to make seam it. All right, now we're going to go the right side. This is where I might run into trouble because I don't have enough wiggle room. But that's okay. I brought my handy dandy seam ripper. I like lots of wiggle room, maybe because I'm a big person and I need more room. I don't know. Does it matter if you're a little petite person?
You know, it's the table is hard because we have to be on the camera, so it's hard to.
No, believe me, I have this problem at home too.
Okay.
It's not the table. It's not the camera situation. It's the lens situation. Here we go. Okay,
the personal problem, huh?
Yeah, it's personal. We're trying to get our fabric to lay flat. Yes, Bonnie, we have that tool. She might have it on her app. I'm not sure.
It's on our website for sure.
It's on our website for sure because we featured it before.
I'll put it on the app as well.
You know, you just got to have it. Okay, here we go. I'm lining up the crosshairs. Once again, this time my R is so I can see it. And there, once again, check the glare. There, once again, that is lining up with the crosshairs on my fabric. I love this tool. You know, I told you earlier I lost it, or thought I lost it. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I had to buy another one. I'm going to stand up so I don't like cut myself. If you guys I cut myself one time on the rotary cutter. And I didn't even know I cut myself till I saw the blood. And then it wouldn't stop bleeding. I had to go to the urgent care just to get it to stop bleeding. I wasn't like bleeding, passing out bleeding, but it was like it wouldn't stop bleeding. Okay, now we are going to slide this guy up, put it on the edge again, and cut off our dog ear. Okay, you got to go to your fitness class. Good for you. I should go to a fitness class. I know I shouldn't cut towards me, but I just had to. All right, so that is it for our little tool, but now the magic happens. Magic. So this is going to be a 1/4 inch seam, and I'm not going to lose this tool again. This is going to be a 1/4 inch seam, so I'm going to move my machine back into place. But first, let me show you. And we can use pins. There's no law. I usually don't use pins, but in these circumstances, I do. All right, so here we are. Here is our bias. So what we're going to do is we are going to, this is going to line up to there. And we got that dog ear, so you can match it up perfectly. And this, I think that dog ear is what helps us so we don't twist the fabric. Because I can't tell you how many times I've taken these suckers out. Then, look, we got that to match up too, which is good. I have thought that I had it untwisted and sewed it and it's twisted. Then I take it out and I think, oh yeah, now I got it. No, I had to take it out again. I don't understand. And then, there you go. So this really, really helps me anyway. Maybe I'm just binding challenged. But it helps me so I don't twist it. And it doesn't take that long to use it. And I don't think the little tool is all that expensive. And it's worth it, right? So there we are. Now I can just go and cut, sew my 1/4 inch seam. So what do you think of that tool? Pretty darn nifty, huh? I'll just stick this over here for a second. Move my baby back in. Oh, let me move this out of the way. My cutting mat out of the way. Wait, I hit a wrong button and my machine's telling me something. Okay. I think I'm lined up with the camera again. That looks good, right? All right. So I gotta get my knee lift. Oh my God, I can't sew without my knee lift. There we go. Bring back our quilt, little trivet. And here we go. 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch seam. I think a 1/4 inch is probably like on the inside edge of my foot. Oh, there's the 1/4 inch. My foot actually has a mark on it. Wasn't that smart of me to notice that mark? Let's backstitch a little bit. Just straighten it out. Don't pull though, because you know you're on a bias. So if you pull, you're going to stretch it. I don't really want to do that. I'm kind of going slow. That's not normal for me. Where do we watch all the Facebook videos again? Okay, Deborah Hanson, you go to YouTube and you search AAA Sewing and Fabric, and she'll find our channel, and you can watch them all there. It's easy peasy. So I personally watch YouTube more than I watch regular TV. There we go. All right. So look, like magic, it's gonna lay flat. There we go. Let me put this foot up. It's gonna lay flat. Look, can you see that? Okay, I am gonna go iron the seam. I'll be right back. You chat amongst yourselves while I go iron the seam. So I took the dog for a walk today. The dog is 12. She's blind. She's so sweet though. Oh my God, you know, the day that I need to come early to work, she decides she needs to sniff every blade of grass.
And she did?
Not only does she have to sniff every blade of grass, she has to go back and sniff it again. And I don't want to rush her because then I feel bad. What if this is the last walk I have with her? Then I feel guilty if something happened to her.
Wasn't it drizzly this morning though?
Yeah, it was even drizzly today. Not that bad though. We're not afraid of getting wet.
No.
Okay. It's perfect. It's perfect. Thank you. Isn't that cool? I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, now we're going to go and finish sewing. Of course, if you have a bigger quilt, you can have much bigger opening and you can manipulate the fabric a lot better. But, you know, one of my very favorite tools. I have a lot of favorite tools, but that's one of my very favorites. So I have quite a bit sewed because I really lots of elbow room. I even took some of the sewing out. Okay.
Very cool, Lynn. This is very cool.
Thank you. All right. So let's go. I wonder if front facing would be easier to show this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn our binding around like this. I'm going to see if I can show you better front facing. Here I am. All right. Oops. Then I bounced the camera. So what we're going to do is now the binding is to the back, right? It's going to refocus. Here we go. We're going to turn it around and bring the binding to the back. And we're going to clip it. And I'm going to go iron. I have a little tuck in there, but don't tell anybody. They won't see it. They won't see it. I'm going to iron it so it's smooth. This little iron is fabulous.
Isn't that iron cool?
Yeah, it's really hot. This doesn't, it does have steam, though, doesn't it? No, maybe not.
It gets really hot.
Yeah, I think it does have steam. Anyway, I don't want to touch it right now because it's hot.
No burning yourself, Lynn. We're on Facebook Live.
No time for emergency
No time to get burnt right now.
I used to tell the kids that when they were running the store.
I know.
We don't have time to go to the emergency room.
Oh my goodness.
Don't go to the store. Now I'm going to turn it to the right side and press.
All right, she's turning it to the right side and press, guys. So hang tight.
It doesn't take that long because this iron is so hot.
She's a-coming. So for those of you just tuning in, we are doing the binding on our trivet. This is like the last of a 4-parter. It's been fun, Lynn.
I know. I hope they learned a lot. I had fun. Plus I got
your gifts done. I know. You got how many gifts done?
I know. You know I never do it. Never. All these people come in with these fabulous baby quilts they're making, and I made a baby quilt for my boss. Oh my gosh, it kept getting bigger and bigger because I was like designing it myself. And
oh, that was years ago. I remember that. That was in our old store.
Yeah, that kid's probably 30 now.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh my gosh, I gotta get this quilt there. This kid's gonna be in college.
I know. Well, it's like me with the t-shirt quilt. I have boxes and boxes of t-shirts. I have yet to make a quilt for my kids.
Well,
I think it should be their wedding gift.
There you go.
Push it out even further.
My husband was a big. I should have made this seam wider. All right, lessons learned, but that's okay. We're good. It's fine.
You want to come on camera and show what you're doing?
Yeah.
Or you're still pressing?
So what I'm doing now, I was off to the side. How rude. So what I should have done, I'm trying to read your comments. Learned a lot for sure. Thanks. Great double thanks. Great intentions, but really slow exit. Yes. I like 3.5-inch binding. This show is great. Thank you. Okay. No, you can't see. So now what I'm doing is folding it over and trying to make my miters. So I'm going to just do that. It's kind of hard to show it up in the air. But I feel I should have done the 1/2 inch seam, not the 3/8. So that's fine. This is going to be a little thicker. We could do the serpentine stitch, right? What do you guys want? Okay, let's have a vote.
But are you going to do the serpentine stitch on the binding or on and off?
I don't know. I did it on the binding. You think I should do it on and off? Do you do it on and off?
When I do the serpentine, I do on and off, so it's not so apparent that it's a do you know what I mean? It's just like it's a subtle look.
Oh, you go for subtle.
I go for subtle.
Salima's subtle. As you can tell by the blouse I'm wearing, I'm not all that subtle. Yeah, definitely should have done the 1/2 inch seam. Okay, take note. If you're doing 3.5 inch binding, do a 1/2 inch seam, not a 3/8 inch seam, not a 1/4 seam.
Why do you say that? Is it too?
Because it's too wide in the front.
Oh, it's too wide in the front.
See how wide
no,
it
it's
is?
not bad actually.
Compared to the back.
Yeah.
So if I do stitch in the ditch, well,
Would it
actually
catch?
I could do stitch. I'm going to do stitch in the ditch. What the
Ooh,
heck?
You're gonna get fancy on us.
That's what I meant to demo today, so by golly, that's what I'm going to do.
You're the boss, Lynn.
Oh, did you let Beto in?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
5 minutes late.
All right. Beto's always waiting at the door. Okay, so here we are. Ta-da. Looks pretty good. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to... Thank you. I'm going to switch out my plate. Let me change cameras. And here we go again. Take this foot off. I'm going to switch out my plate on... This has interchangeable feet, as does the digital walking... What do they call it? The move-it foot.
Yep, move it. Mm-hmm.
Move-it foot. Oh, you can't see. So the move-it foot, Baby Lock Brother, also... Oh, blanket stitch. That's a good idea. Yeah, I could mirror it. So anyway, you can change out the sole plates. So I'm kind of doing it off camera because it's not as easy as it sounds for me. Okay, there we go. Oh, see? It cooperated. So anyway, you can change out the sole plates. So I'm putting in, can you see it? Stitch in the ditch. There we go. Stitch in the ditch. It's got this blade right here, which I'm going to run right in my seam.
Lynette says, Lynn, you only see one side at a time, so sew as you like.
Thank you. Thank you,
it.
Lynette. You guys are fabulous.
They
We
are.
have all the fabulous girls on Friday Fun Day. All right. Snapper in place. And it gives a snap. You want to make sure it's on there, else you're going to be in trouble. Come on, baby. There. Snapped in place. Good girl. All right. Talking to the foot like it's a dog. Now, once again, this is the hardest part of the whole project. Come on, baby. Okay, almost there. Almost there. There. You have to like lift the foot up further. There we go. Got it. I'll probably make it twice as hard as it really is. There we go. She's in. Yay! Okay. Oh, I need a drink of water. Okay. What feet come with the move-it foot? So I think Salima's checking it out. Maybe. I know they sell them separate, so maybe like if it didn't come with it, you can get it. So what we want to do is we want our blade to run right on that seam. You see that? The blade, this blade, is going to be right in between that seam. And sometimes I'll even open it up like this. But I got to move my needle. So I'm going to move my needle. I think that's as far as I can move it. So hopefully it's going to catch. I believe it will. Okay. I'm sewing from the wrong side, so hopefully I get these. Woo! Making me tense. Hopefully I'm getting my, catching my corners on the front. We'll see. Okay, here we go. Let's back her up. All right. So we are. These little threads are going to drive me nuts. All right. I'm kind of tucking the binding under as I do it. So I make sure it stays in place. So I'm running blind. I can't see my corners. So we gotta just have a leap of faith here that they're gonna be all right. I can kind of peek under there. I'm gonna hold them together, hold them together. I got a tweezer here, it's pretty darn sharp. Go over that corner, turn around, turn around. We are on the home stretch, girls. You've been hanging in here with me. Almost an hour, right? Thank you for coming. Oops. Ooh. I went off track. Get back on track. So I'm kind of pulling it under a little bit.
Lynn, they also have a new compact digital dual feed.
Oh, I'll show that. So they have a compact digital feed. It's
So
new.
it's smaller.
Smaller, and I know we have several of them.
And I heard it's fabulous.
And Selima said she heard it's fabulous.
I haven't used it myself, but I have customers.
She hasn't used it herself yet. But she says she's had testimonials. How's that? Testimonials. That's fabulous. All right, look at this, we're almost done. Pray. Are you guys praying? That looks good on the front. If I wasn't thinking right. I should have sewed it to the front and brought it to the back. Oh, when will I ever learn? It's gonna be good though, right? And this one, it's the store samples. Oh, Connie says that it is fabulous. Yes, I have.
Connie has it, that's
You know, Doris, I probably have 50 stilettos, but could I find one? No, I couldn't find one. So I just got out the tweezers. Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do because you gotta spend time sewing, not looking for the tool. Or you just gotta go to the store and buy another one, like I did with that tool, because I can live without it. All right. It looks good. It's looking good. Let's see, this little welcome kit is doing the job. We're almost there. Have you guys been drinking your coffee? I have a ditch foot, but seldom think to use it. Oh, I'm telling you what. This stitch in the ditch foot, this is one of my favorites. One of my favorites. You can use this for like top stitching. There it is. Now see, I'm going too fast and getting off track. Thank God I'm using cream thread. It won't show up too much. We are to the last corner. So if it doesn't look good, I'm not going to show. I'll just show you the back. I won't show you the front. If it didn't come out, I'm sure it's fine. And we are almost there. Okay, are you ready? The moment of truth. I'm going to look first. Fabulous. Fabulous. Except, okay. Except, you know what? Let's just do front facing. Except it's too big here. But, all right, let me refocus. Let me hold it straight. There we go. But look at the corners. That's what we care about, right? Look at the corners. They're fab. So lesson learned. 1/2 inch seam. I could go back and do the little, well, it is what it is. We're just going to leave it as is. We're going to hang it up on the wall. People aren't going to get that close. They won't notice. So what'd you think? How'd you like it? High-low foot might work. Oh, yeah. So, Doris, that high-low foot that you're talking about is the one that Louise demonstrated on July 19th, 2021. And you can watch that video on YouTube. So that is the exact foot she demonstrated. It's called baby lock
Binding foot, quilt binding.
quilt binding foot.
But that will not, you can't use that with a walking foot. That's just a separate
Yeah, you
foot.
can't use that with the walking foot. I use the walking foot here because my little machine needed it's extra thick. Probably if you would just use just batting, then you wouldn't need the walking foot. But this has the batting and the insole bright. The insole bright's kind of poofy, so I needed the walking foot. What is the stitch in the ditch foot called for the walking? I think it's called, it might be called the edge joining foot. Sometimes they call it stitch in the ditch. Sometimes they call it edge joining. So I'm not sure. But I know, Evie, you have Bernina. The new walking foot for Bernina comes with all three. It comes with the regular one, the 1/4 inch one, and the edge stitch or stitch in the ditch. But we can probably order it. We might even have it in stock. So, my friends, that is it for today. You know, I got to get going. The store's going to open. You guys are going to come rushing in here, and I won't be ready for you. All right, Lynette, you have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on our little trivet journey, which is now over. Yes, edge joining foot. That's right, Doris. Yeah. Okay, you're welcome, everyone. Thank you. Thanks for being with us on Friday. Selima and I, oh, good, we'll see you today. We're going to go grab coffee, right? We need some caffeine.
Yes, we're going to grab our coffee now.
But we're ready for you. Come on in. All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.